They laughed in front of the entire family reunion, raising their wine glasses and calling me the prodigal failure who crawled back home. I set my glass down, smiled, and said, "That's fine. Let me answer with a paycheck." That night, an anonymous text lit up my phone at 1:25 a.m. "Check your parents' wallet and the family company they're gambling with your name." I didn't curse back. I opened my notebook and sketched an empire. My name is Elena Hartley, and I'm 32 years old. I work as an operations strategist at Northbridge Nexus, a mid-sized logistics firm in Riverton, Colorado. Or at least, that's what I tell people who ask politely. My parents, Gerald and Lorraine Hartley, have their own version. Elena pretends to boss people around at some warehouse company. The Cedar Vale Winery gleams under string lights this September evening, its stone patio overlooking rows of grapevines that stretch toward the Rockies. My extended family clusters around white-clothed tables, aunts air-kissing cousins, uncles comparing golf handicaps. I smell rosemary-crusted lamb and hear the soft jazz quartet my mother insisted on hiring. Everything is perfectly curated, just like every Hartley family reunion. Elena. My mother's voice cuts through the murmur. She's holding a microphone. Of course, she brought a microphone to her own family gathering. "Come up here, sweetheart. We're playing a little game." The wine in my stomach turns acidic. I know that tone, that theatrical smile. I walk toward the makeshift stage area near the fountain, my heels clicking against stone. My cousin Brittany smirks from her table, whispering something to her hedge fund husband. Now, Gerald takes the mic, his face already flushed from bourbon. Let's see who knows their family history best. First question: who can tell us about Elena's big promotion last year? Silence. A few awkward coughs. Lorraine laughs, bright and cruel. Trick question. There wasn't one. But she did manage to lose the Garrett Industries contract by showing up late to the presentation. Remember that, honey. You blamed traffic, but we all know you probably couldn't figure out the spreadsheets. The laughter ripples through the crowd. Not everyone Aunt Jo looks down at her plate, and my cousin Maya won't meet my eyes, but enough. Enough to make my skin burn. Actually, I start, but Gerald waves me off. And this is why, he announces, gesturing broadly with his whiskey glass. The family business stays in capable hands. Women can play at being executives, but at the end of the day, they belong behind a stove. Uncle Wade finishes, and they clink glasses. I stand there, frozen in the spotlight, while my parents dissect every perceived failure of my career. The time I suggested a route optimization that supposedly would have bankrupted a client, it would have saved them $40,000 annually. The networking event where I embarrassed the family name by correcting a CEO's logistics assumptions he later hired our firm because of it. Each story twisted, each achievement erased or inverted. But we love you anyway, Lorraine coos into the microphone. Even if you're not quite leadership material. I excuse myself to the bathroom, but I don't go inside. Instead, I circle around the building's edge, needing air that doesn't taste like humiliation. That's when I hear them. Using Elena's information was brilliant, Uncle Wade is saying. He's standing with my parents near the service entrance, thinking they're hidden. Her credit score, her employment history perfect for the loan application. The best part, Gerald chuckles, is she'll never know. Too busy playing boss lady to check her own records. And the Hartley Distributors expansion, Wade asks. All structured through shell companies. If the IRS comes knocking, well, Lorraine's voice drops. Let's just say Elena's signature is on some very interesting documents. My hand finds the stone wall, steady against the spinning in my head. They're using my name, my credit, my reputation, building their empire on my back while publicly declaring me worthless. I walk back to the patio, past the laughing relatives, past the jazz quartet playing something irritatingly cheerful. At my mother's place setting sits the hairpin she gave me for my 16th birthday silver, with tiny pearls. For when you marry well, she'd said. I leave it on her dessert plate like a resignation letter. The last thing I hear as I walk to my car is Gerald's voice booming through the microphone. To family. the ones who know their place. I drive away from Cedar Vale Winery at exactly 9:43 p.m., watching the string lights shrink in my rearview mirror. I don't know it yet, but I'll never attend another family reunion as Elena Hartley. The disappointment. The next time they see me, I'll own them. The streetlights blur past my windshield as I drive through Riverton's industrial district. My hands won't stop shaking. I pull into an empty parking lot behind a shuttered warehouse, kill the engine, and sit in the darkness. The silence feels like drowning. My phone buzzes, then again, and again. The first text arrives at 11:17 p.m. from an unknown number. Check your credit report tonight. Don't wait until morning. The second, 30 seconds later, your parents filed loan applications using your SSN, 3 banks, 700,000 total. The third makes my blood freeze. Hartley Distributors isn't just failing, it's a fraud scheme, and your name is all over it. I stare at the messages until the words blur. Someone knows. Someone was at that reunion, watching, listening. But my laptop sits in the back seat. I never go anywhere without it. I hotspot my phone and pull my credit report right there. Dashboard as my desk. Dome light casting shadows across my fingers. The familiar websites feel foreign at 1:43 like I'm hacking into my own life. There they are. 3 loan applications. My signature, except I never signed them. The forgery is good, practiced. They've been rehearsing my handwriting like actors learning lines. I dig deeper into my email, searching for anything connected to Hartley Distributors. Buried in my spam folder, I find it a DocuSign confirmation from 2 weeks ago for Family Power of Attorney Estate Planning. I never signed this either, but there's my digital signature, timestamp showing 3:26 a.m. on a Tuesday when I was definitely asleep. My phone rings. Maya's name appears. "I saw you leave," she says without preamble. "I'm sorry about all of it." "Did you know?" My voice comes out raw. "About the humiliation show?" "No." "About the loans I suspected." "I do their books. Elena. Part-time, at least. The numbers haven't added up for months." "And you didn't tell me." "I tried calling you last month. Your mom answered your phone somehow. Told me you were too busy to deal with family drama." I should have pushed harder. I close my eyes. They'd intercepted calls. Of course they had. "Maya, I need everything. Every document. Every transaction. Already uploading to a secure drive. Elena, there's more. They've been buying properties under an LLC that lists you as the managing member. If those deals go south, and they will, they're over-leveraged to hell. You're on the hook." The parking lot spins around me. How long? 6 months. Maybe more. 6 months of family dinners where they smiled at me. 6 months of, "We're so proud of you, sweetheart." 6 months of preparation for tonight's grand humiliation. Another text from the unknown number, Dawson and Pike Law Firm. "Ask for Noah Price. He's expecting you Monday at 8 a.m. sharp. Bring everything." "Maya," I say. "Can you meet tomorrow? Somewhere they won't think to look. The old print shop on Colfax. Aunt Jo's place. She's on your side. Elena. Has been for years." Aunt Jo. My father's sister who refused to join the family business, who built her own small printing company from nothing. The relative they whisper about at reunions, calling her difficult and unmarriageable. 10 a.m., I confirm. I drive home to my apartment at 2:21 a.m., mind racing through scenarios. Every option feels like surrender. Report them for fraud. They'll claim I authorized everything. Sue for identity theft. They have family permission documents, probably notarized by their golf buddy judge. Walk away. They've made sure I can't. My name is tangled in their web by design. I stand in my shower until the water runs cold, then sit at my kitchen table with a legal pad and start sketching. Not a lawsuit, not an escape plan, a company structure. If they want to play games with LLCs and shell companies, I'll show them how it's really done. Every supplier relationship I've built at Northbridge Nexus, Every efficiency model I've designed that my boss took credit for. Every innovation they said was too aggressive for a woman to implement. At 4:15 a.m., I have 18 pages of notes and a name, Atlas Flow Systems. I text the unknown number, "Who are you?" The response comes immediately. Someone who knows what it's like to be underestimated. Monday, 8 a.m. Don't be late. I look at the hairpin I grabbed from my mother's plate. Somehow it ended up in my pocket. The silver is tarnished, the pearls yellowed with age. I set it on my kitchen counter like a declaration of war. They want me to disappear into the failure they've scripted for me. Instead, I'm going to build something they'll beg to be part of. And when they do, I'll remember exactly where I belong in the seat that controls their signatures on their paychecks. The coffee burns my tongue at 5:37 m. I don't care. Depot 17 sprawls before me, an old freight warehouse converted into startup spaces, all exposed brick and industrial fixtures, my new headquarters. The lease signed yesterday with cash I'd saved for a house down payment. That dream's dead now. This one isn't. "You sure about this?" Maya asks, hauling in another box of secondhand office equipment. Dark circles ring her eyes. She's been up all night pulling Hartley Distributors' real books. Never been more sure of anything. I connect the fourth monitor to my standing desk. The screens glow like promises. Atlas Flow Systems exists now. LLC filed. EIN acquired. Business accounts opened. Noah Price turned out to be exactly what I needed. A corporate lawyer who'd been screwed by his own family's firm and rebuilt from scratch. He didn't say much about the anonymous texter, just, "They pay my retainer. You get my expertise. Don't waste it." 3 weeks in, I've got my core team. Priya Dalton answers my cold LinkedIn message at 2 a.m. Says she's tired of her ideas being credited to male colleagues at her current firm. Her optimization algorithms could revolutionize mid-mile delivery. Luis Romero comes recommended by a supplier who whispers, "He's too honest for corporate sales. Perfect for you." Maya officially quits the family business, brings their client list and vendor contracts copied on her last day. "They'll sue you for this," she warns, spreading the papers across our makeshift conference table door balanced on sawhorses. Let them. I quit Northbridge clean, gave 2 weeks' notice. No non-compete for the territories I'm targeting. I highlight routes on a regional map. Every small agricultural producer Gerald ignored because the margins weren't fat enough. Every family farm Lorraine called not worth our time. The cease and desist letter arrives week 4. Northbridge Nexus letterhead, threatening legal action for solicitation of proprietary clients. Noah laughs when I call him. Actually laughs. "They're scared. Your parents must have leaned on them. Forward it to me." His response letter is a masterpiece citations of expired agreements, documentation of my original innovations they'd claimed as company property, a subtle threat about wage theft complaints from my unpaid overtime. Northbridge backs off within 48 hours. Pine Mesa Produce signs first. I meet the owner, Marcus Webb, at 4 a.m. in his packing warehouse. He's loading crates himself, suspicious of anyone in a suit. "Hartley Distributors charges me 30% over market for refrigerated transport," he says. Claims it's the best they can do. I pull out my tablet, show him the route optimization. 18% reduction in fuel costs by combining your shipments with 2 other producers. Shared cold storage at strategic stops. You save money. Produce arrives fresher. What's the catch? No catch. Just math your current distributor won't do because it cuts into their inflated margins. He signs that morning. Word spreads through the Agricultural Association like wildfire there's a new player, and she actually gives a damn about small operations. 6 weeks in, I'm sleeping 3 hours a night on the office couch. My apartment's basically abandoned. Priya's built a routing algorithm that makes our competitors' systems look like finger painting. Luis has locked in 7 clients. Maya's caught 3 billing errors that save us $12,000 in startup costs. Then comes the knife in the back. "Elena," Maya's voice on the phone at 11:52 p.m. Sounds wrong. "Your parents know about Pine Mesa. They're holding Marcus's shipment hostage at their warehouse. Won't release it unless he terminates with us. I'm in my car before she finishes talking, racing toward Pine Mesa's facility. Marcus is there, exhausted, angry, desperate. That's 40,000 in produce rotting in their warehouse. I can't afford this. You won't have to. I call Luis, Priya, Maya. All hands. Now. We work through the night. Noah drafts an emergency injunction. I leverage every contact: a refrigerated truck owner who owes me a favor, a warehouse manager who'll open after hours for cash. By 6 we've got a parallel supply chain ready. File the injunction, I tell Noah, but also document everything for a tortious interference claim. You're learning, he says. Approval in his voice. We live stream the whole thing on the industry forums. Atlas Flow Systems executing an emergency extraction of Pine Mesa's produce, delivering to their buyers on schedule while Hartley Distributors scrambles to explain why they're holding shipments hostage. The agricultural community watches Gerald and Lorraine's company reputation burn in real time. Marcus shakes my hand afterward, his grip firm. They're your parents, aren't they? The Hartleys? I meet his eyes. Not anymore. The whiteboard in our office fills with acquisition targets, not companies, but infrastructure. The lots Hartley Distributors depends on for truck staging. The maintenance contracts they've neglected to lock down. The refueling stations they use but don't own. We're not just building a company, I tell my team at our Monday morning stand-up. We're building a net, Priya grins. And they won't see it until they're already caught. I pin the tarnished hairpin to the whiteboard's corner, my only decoration in this industrial space. Every time I see it, I remember my mother's words, not quite leadership material. We'll see about that when she's asking me for a shift schedule. The rumors reach me through whispers at industry events. Did you hear about Gerald's daughter? Apparently she's having a breakdown. Poor Lorraine, dealing with a mentally unstable child. My parents have weaponized concern like a precision strike. Every extended family member receives a call. Every mutual business contact gets a worried lunch meeting. The narrative is consistent. Elena's erratic behavior forced them to protect the family interests. She's unwell, possibly dangerous, definitely not to be trusted. Aunt Jo calls me at 6:43 crying. They showed up at my print shop yesterday. Said if I keep helping you, they'll make sure I lose the contract with the school district. That's 30% of my revenue. Elena, don't worry about, I'm not abandoning you. She cuts me off. Just wanted you to know what you're up against. Also, I recorded the whole conversation. My inbox floods with cancellations. 2 signed clients back out, citing concerns about stability. A vendor suddenly needs payment up front. The small business loan I'd applied for gets mysteriously delayed. They're trying to bleed us out, Maya says, scanning the latest financial reports. Death by 1,000 cuts. Luis slams his phone down. The Riverside Farmers Market just uninvited us from their vendor showcase. Said they heard we might not be financially sound. I stand at the whiteboard, staring at our growth projections now covered with red X's. 3 months of progress unraveling because my parents know exactly which strings to pull. The text comes at midnight. They're spreading medical records, fake ones. Check the family group chat. I don't have access to the family group chat they removed me years ago. But Maya does. She screenshots everything. There it is. A fabricated psychiatric evaluation with my name. Diagnosis of bipolar disorder with paranoid features. Recommendations for immediate intervention. The letterhead looks legitimate. The doctor's signature is perfect. It's completely fake. But who's going to verify I know this signature? Priya says quietly. Dr. Morrison. He's real. He's also Lorraine's cousin by marriage. The violation feels like ice in my veins. They're not just attacking my business, they're trying to erase my credibility as a human being. Elena. Noah's voice is steel when I call him. This crosses a line. We can file no. I cut him off. Legal battles take years. They want me reactive, defensive. I need to be strategic. I gather my team at 2 a.m. in our conference room. The exhaustion on their faces mirrors mine. But there's something else too. Anger. They want to play dirty. I pull out a fresh legal pad. Let's talk about leverage. Maya lays out Hartley Distributors' contracts. They're behind on payments to Pine Mesa again, and 3 other vendors. Marcus won't wait forever, Luis adds. He's already asking if we can handle his full volume. Priya pulls up her screen. I've been analyzing their routes. They're hemorrhaging money on inefficient paths, but they can't optimize without better software. Software they can't afford because they borrowed against future receivables to fund their expansion. Maya finishes. Receivables that are drying up as clients leave? I sketch out a new plan, not defense offense. Maya, draft a payment bond proposal for every vendor they owe. We'll guarantee payment if Hartley defaults, in exchange for exclusive contracts when they do. Luis, reach out to every driver on Hartley's payroll. Let them know Atlas is hiring, full benefits, better routes. Priya, can you run projections on acquiring their overflow contracts? The ones they'll have to forfeit when they can't maintain service levels. She's already typing. Give me 6 hours. Noah emails at 4:15 Your parents just tried to freeze your assets claiming financial elder abuse. Judge threw it out. They couldn't prove any fiduciary relationship. They're getting desperate. Desperate makes people sloppy. Uncle Wade calls me directly, trying to sound casual. Elena, sweetheart, this has gotten out of hand. Your parents want to reconcile. Maybe over dinner. Tell them I'll see them at the next quarterly vendor review. Oh, wait. Atlas doesn't use underperforming distributors. You ungrateful. He catches himself. They gave you everything. They gave me a reputation to destroy and a name to clear. I'm returning the favor. Aunt Jo texts me that night. Heard through the print shop network Hartley's checks are bouncing. Also, I just landed 3 new contracts. Turns out other businesses respect someone who stands up to bullies. I pin the bounced check notification to our victory board, right next to the tarnished hairpin. They're about to lose the warehouse lease. Maya announces the next morning. 90 days behind. I look at my exhausted, determined team. How much would it cost to assume their lease? Maya's calculator clicks. With what we've saved from the Pine Mesa contract, we could swing it. Do it. Through a subsidiary. Don't let them know it's us until the paperwork's signed. The beautiful thing about revenge is that sometimes you don't have to destroy someone. Sometimes you just have to let them destroy themselves while you build something better from their ashes. My phone buzzes with another family group chat screenshot. This time, it's Gerald, raging about ungrateful children and betrayal of blood. I don't respond. I'm too busy reviewing resumes from 3 of Hartley's best drivers who just applied to Atlas. Maya spreads the financial forensics across 3 tables like a surgeon laying out instruments. Every number tells a story of decline. Hartley Distributors is bleeding out, and we're about to see exactly where the arteries are cut. Debt-to-asset ratio at 78%, she announces. They've got 3 months, maybe 4 before the banks call everything in. Their fleet, I ask, though I already know? 14 trucks at end of life. Insurance premiums jumping 40% next quarter because of their accident rate. They can't afford replacements. Can't afford to keep running them. Priya pulls up the lease agreements. This is the interesting part. They don't own their primary warehouse they lease from Silver Ridge Properties. And look at this clause. I lean in. Assignment rights. The lease can be transferred to a qualified operator if Silver Ridge approves. And Silver Ridge is hemorrhaging cash from a failed development project downtown. Noah, I call him on speaker. I need you to create something untraceable, a holding company that can't be connected to Atlas. Already done. Halcyon Holding LLC, registered in Delaware, managed through 2 intermediary trusts. What are we buying? Everything around Hartley Distributors, not the company, the infrastructure that keeps it alive. Luis whistles. The parking lots they use for overflow, the maintenance shop that services their fleet, Priya adds. The dispatch software license that expires in 6 weeks. Maya continues. I write each asset on the whiteboard, drawing connections. We don't need to attack the castle. We just need to own every road leading to it. The first acquisition is quiet, a 2-acre truck lot on the south side. Hartley's been using it for free because the owner, an elderly man named Stuart, went to high school with Gerald. Stuart's grandson needs money for medical school. Halcyon offers cash, 30% above market. Done. The second is strategic, the maintenance contract with Rodriguez Auto Services. They've been underpaid by Hartley for years, constant late payments. We offer a 5-year exclusive deal, payment up front. Rodriguez signs immediately. They'll notice soon. Luis warns. Let them. What are they going to say? That it's suspicious their daughter's company is succeeding while theirs fails. Noah calls at 11:28 p.m. Silver Ridge wants to meet. They know Halcyon is interested in the warehouse lease. They also know Hartley is 90 days behind and about to default. Set it up. The meeting happens in a glass tower downtown. Silver Ridge's CEO, Margaret Torres, doesn't waste time on pleasantries. Hartley Distributors owes us $200,000 in back rent. They're also our longest tenant. Why should we abandon them for an unknown entity? I slide across our financial statements, the real ones for Atlas, not Halcyon. Because in 6 months, Atlas Flow Systems will need 3 times the warehouse space. We'll sign a 10-year lease at 15% above market rate. Today, cash deposit. Her eyes scan the numbers. You're Elena Hartley. I am? They're your parents. They were. She leans back, studying me. I heard about the psychiatric evaluation stunt. Nasty business. Business is business. Indeed. She closes the folder. Halcyon gets the lease transfer rights, effective upon Hartley's next missed payment, which, according to my calendar, should be next Tuesday. I stand to leave, then turn back. Mrs. Torres, why are you really doing this? She smiles, sharp as winter. Your mother told my daughter she'd never make it in commercial real estate because pretty girls should focus on finding husbands, not leases. My daughter just closed a $40 million deal in Denver. She extends her hand. Burn them to the ground, Elena. The chess pieces are moving faster now. We acquire the scheduling software company that runs Hartley's dispatch system, the fuel card provider that gives them credit, the GPS tracking service for their fleet. Maya keeps a running tally. We're spending everything. We're investing, I correct. Every dollar we spend is a brick in the wall around them. The call comes from my father at 118 I don't recognize the number, but I know his breathing. You think you're clever, he says without preamble. I think I'm employed, which is more than your drivers will be able to say soon. We'll survive this. We always have. With whose credit? Whose name you burned through mine? Mom's family won't touch you after the psychiatric evaluation scheme. Wade's tapped out from his own bad investments. Silence. Then, what do you want? Nothing you're willing to give. Everyone has a price. Yes. I agree. Yours is about to be negative $3.2 million. That's your total liability when the banks call the loans, the vendors demand payment, and the lease defaults. But don't worry, I'm sure someone will hire you. I hear there's a new logistics company that's always looking for experienced warehouse workers. I hang up before he can respond. Priya looks up from her screens. The routing software renewal. They need it by end of week or their entire dispatch system goes dark. How much to buy the software company? She calculates rapidly. With what we have left, we could take majority stake. Do it. Maya shakes her head. Elena, if this doesn't work, then we fail spectacularly. But if it does work, we don't just compete with Hartley Distributors. We own the ground they stand on, the air they breathe, the tools they need to survive. I stand at the window, looking out at the Riverton Industrial District. Somewhere out there, my parents are scrambling, making calls, trying to understand how their empire became a house of cards. They taught me everything I needed to know about business. They just never expected me to learn the lesson so well. The offer letter sits on my desk like a loaded weapon. Halcyon Holdings letterhead, Noah's precise legal language, every term calculated to feel like rescue and taste like surrender. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Hartley, I read aloud to my team. In light of Hartley Distributors' current financial position, Halcyon Holding LLC proposes the following restructuring arrangement. Maya traces her finger down the terms. Assumption of all debts, retention of 48 employees, guaranteed operational continuity. The catch, Luis asks. Controlling interest transfers to Halcyon. Gerald and Lorraine sign 3-year employment contracts as warehouse operations manager and dispatch coordinator. Salary $68,000 annually, no equity, no board positions. They'll never sign, Priya says. I tap the next page. They will when they see the alternative. Noah's prepared a comprehensive package of evidence: the fraudulent loans, the identity theft, the forged signatures. We won't file charges if they sign. If they refuse. Prison, Maya finishes quietly. The meeting is scheduled for neutral ground, Noah's law office. Thursday at 10 a.m. I arrive early, arrange the documents in precise order. The forensic accounting report, the bank statements, the forged signatures blown up to poster size. Gerald enters first, his face purple with rage. Lorraine follows, designer bag clutched like armor. Their lawyer, Thompson, looks like he'd rather be anywhere else. This is extortion, Gerald spits before sitting. This is business. Noah slides the offer across the table. Your client has 72 hours before Silver Ridge Properties exercises their default clause. The banks have already initiated foreclosure proceedings. 14 vendors are preparing lawsuits. Would you like me to continue? Thompson whispers urgently to my parents. Lorraine's face has gone pale beneath her foundation. You did this, she hisses at me. You orchestrated all of it. I built a better company. You built a house of cards. The wind just happened to blow. Noah continues, emotionless. Option 1, sign the restructuring agreement. Hartley Distributors survives as a subsidiary of Halcyon. Your employees keep their jobs. You receive steady salaries and health insurance. Option 2, I lean forward. Bankruptcy, liquidation, and potential criminal prosecution for fraud. Your choice. Gerald's fist slams the table. You're not qualified to run a logistics company. I slide across Atlas Flow's quarterly report. 42% growth, 15 new enterprise clients, profit margins that make Hartley's best year look like a lemonade stand. The employees won't follow you. Lorraine tries. Luis pulls out his phone, shows a video. We interviewed them yesterday. 43 out of 48 are ready to sign with new management. The other 5 are retiring. Thompson clears his throat. My clients need time to review. 72 hours. Noah interrupts. The banks won't wait longer. There's one more thing. I stand, pull out a folded document. The family reunion. We're having another one. 3 weeks from today. Riverton Union Hall. You'll announce the transition there, publicly, to everyone who watched you humiliate me. Absolutely not, Gerald snarls. Then no deal. I move toward the door. Enjoy explaining to Aunt Wade why his investment is worthless. To Cousin Brittany why her trust fund backed by Hartley stock is gone. To everyone who believed your version of success. Wait. Lorraine's voice cracks. If we sign, if we do the announcement, what's our actual role in the company? I turn back slowly. You'll report to the operations director. Follow scheduling protocols. Submit timesheets. Request vacation days. Everything you said I wasn't capable of doing, you'll do it under my supervision. For 3 years. With good behavior, possible promotion to shift supervisor. After performance reviews? The silence stretches like a taut wire. Thompson whispers urgently about criminal liability. Gerald's hands shake as he reaches for the pen. One condition, he says. We maintain our titles externally, for appearances. Your business cards can say whatever you want. I concede. But the org chart, the actual authority, the paychecks, those tell the truth. Lorraine signs first, her signature as perfect as all the ones she forged in my name. Gerald follows, each letter an admission of defeat. The announcement, Noah reminds them. 3 weeks, we'll have media present. They leave without another word. Thompson shakes my hand on the way out. Whispers, well played. Maya finds me later in the Atlas office, staring at the signed contracts. You won. Not yet. I pin the agreement next to the tarnished hairpin. They signed because they had to. The real victory comes when they clock in for their first shift, when they stand in front of the family and admit I was right. What if they run? With what money to wear? I pull up the employment contracts. They're personally guaranteed. They run. They owe us 3 years' salary as damages. Luis raises his beer. To the Empress of Logistics. No, I correct, lifting my coffee mug. To doing the job right, something they never learned. The text from the unknown number arrives at 11:59 p.m. Congratulations. The hardest part isn't winning. It's what you do with victory. I type back, who are you? Someone who once sat where you're sitting. Someone who learned that the best revenge isn't destruction, it's transformation. See you at the reunion. 3 weeks. 3 weeks until my parents stand where I stood and taste the humiliation they served so cold. I close my eyes and see the warehouse floor, see their names on time cards, see the org chart with my name at the top. It's not enough. Not yet. Riverton Union Hall glows under the same string lights my mother loves, the same jazz quartet playing in the corner. I paid for it all, same vendors, same menu, same setup as the reunion where they destroyed me. The poetry of repetition. The family arrives in clusters, confused by the last-minute invitation. Celebrating 45 years of marriage. The email said, signed by Gerald and Lorraine. They don't know I sent it from their hacked account. I stand backstage, watching through the curtain gap. Gerald adjusts his tie obsessively. Lorraine reapplies lipstick for the 4th time. They know what's coming but can't stop it. The contracts they signed are specific about public acknowledgement. Nervous. Noah stands beside me, tablet in hand. Excited. I correct. Like watching a controlled demolition you planned for months. Uncle Wade works the room. Loud voice carrying stories about Hartley Distributors' big expansion. Cousin Brittany brags about her parents' company's success. None of them know the company changed hands 72 hours ago. 8:45 p.m. Time for Act 1. Gerald takes the microphone, his usual bravado replaced with something hollow. Thank you all for coming. We have an important announcement about Hartley Distributors. The room quiets. I step onto the stage, and the gasps ripple like dominoes. Hello, everyone. I smile, taking the mic from my father's frozen hand. I'm sure you remember me. The failure, the disappointment, the one who'd never amount to anything in business. Behind me, the projection screen comes alive. Maya's running the slides from the back. 6 months ago, at our last reunion, you all heard how incompetent I was, how I lost contracts, embarrassed the family, belonged in a kitchen rather than a boardroom. Click. The first slide shows Atlas Flows Incorporation documents. So I decided to prove them right. I quit my job and started from scratch. Click. Revenue charts, climbing steadily upward. Atlas Flow Systems. Perhaps you've heard of it. We're the company that rescued Pine Mesa Produce when someone held their shipment hostage. I glance at Gerald. We're also the company that just acquired controlling interest in Hartley Distributors. The silence cracks. Uncle Wade stands. That's impossible. Click. The signed contracts, larger than life on screen. As of this week, I own 53% of the company. My parents have agreed to stay on in operational roles. They'll be managing warehouse shifts and dispatch coordination. Gerald, Aunt Margaret's voice wavers. Is this true? My father's hands shake as he takes back the microphone. Due to challenging market conditions, we've accepted a restructuring proposal. Tell them the rest, I prompt. His jaw clenches. Elena will serve as CEO of the merged entity. And Lorraine and I have signed employment contracts as staff members. The room erupts. Brittany literally drops her wine glass. Uncle Wade's face turns purple. But in the back, I spot Aunt Jo raising her beer bottle in a silent toast. But here's the best part. I take the mic back, Click to the next slide photos of forged documents. The reason they needed restructuring. They built their expansion on fraud. Used my name, my credit, my signature without permission. Would you like to see the evidence? Elena, please, Lorraine starts. Please what? Show the same mercy you showed me. Click. The fake psychiatric evaluation appears. This is what my parents distributed to discredit me. A forged medical document claiming I was mentally unstable. The relatives shift uncomfortably. Some pull out phones, recording. But I'm not here for revenge, I continue, though the lie tastes sweet. I'm here for accountability, and to make an offer. Click. An organizational chart appears. Atlas Flow Systems at the top. Hartley Distributors as a subsidiary. Any family member who wants to work for the new company is welcome to apply. We pay fairly, promote based on merit, and never ever humiliate our employees for sport. I move to the final slide. It's a photo from the first reunion, zoomed in on my face as my parents mocked me. Next to it, today's date and the new company logo. Gerald and Lorraine start their first shift Monday morning, 6 sharp. They'll be wearing the same uniforms as every other warehouse worker, punching the same time clock, following the same rules. I set the microphone down, walk to my parents. Your ID badges. I hand them the laminated cards with their photos, names, and in bold letters, probationary employee. Any questions? I address the room. Wade stands. You can't do this to family. They did it first. I just did it better. This is cruel, someone calls out. No. Cruel was spreading lies about my mental health. This is business. I walk toward the exit, then stop. Oh, one more thing. That 45-year marriage celebration. Consider this your gift. 45 years together, 3 years working for your daughter. Seems poetic. I leave the stage, the room in chaos behind me. In the parking lot, a woman waits by a Tesla. Older, elegant, familiar somehow. You don't know me, she says. But I sent those texts. I'm Patricia Morrison, your mother's cousin's ex-wife, the doctor whose signature they forged. Why help me? Because 20 years ago, Lorraine destroyed my practice with lies after I divorced her cousin. I lost everything, rebuilt from nothing. When I heard what they were doing to you, using my name. She hands me an envelope. Evidence of other forgeries, other victims, in case you need it. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just remember, victory isn't the end. It's the beginning. They'll work for you now, but they'll never stop being who they are. Stay vigilant. She drives away as my phone buzzes. A message from the team, watching the live stream. The family group chat is melting down. You did it. I look back at the Union Hall, see figures pressed against the windows, still watching the slides Maya's looping. My parents are probably still on stage, frozen in their humiliation. Monday morning, they'll clock in for their first shift. The Empress of Logistics will be watching. The warehouse floor hums with morning activity at 5:58 a.m. I stand on the observation deck, coffee in hand, watching the loading bays come alive. Below, workers in bright safety vests check manifests, start forklifts, begin the ancient dance of logistics. At 6 a.m. sharp, they arrive. Gerald wears the standard issue Atlas Flow Systems uniform navy polo, khaki pants, steel-toed boots that look wrong on his feet. Lorraine clutches her lunch bag like a life preserver. They both stop at the time clock, staring at it like it might bite. Badge in, Priya says, not unkindly. She's training supervisor today. Hold it against the scanner until it beeps. The beep echoes. Gerald Hartley, once president of Hartley Distributors, is now officially on the clock. Marcus Webb from Pine Mesa Produce walks past, does a double take. Gerald, that you? My father's face burns red. Temporary situation. Sure it is. Marcus continues walking, but I catch his smile. I descend to the floor. Time for rounds. Good morning, Mom. Dad. I keep my voice professional. Priya will show you to your stations. Dad, you're on Bay 7, managing inbound freight logging. Mom, you're in dispatch, handling driver check-ins. Elena. Lorraine starts. It's Ms. Hartley during business hours. Company policy. I hand them their workflow tablets. Your metrics are tracked automatically. Productivity below 80% triggers a performance review. 3 reviews lead to termination. You're enjoying this, Gerald says quietly. I'm running a business. Something you never actually learned to do. I turn to leave, then stop. Oh, lunch is 30 minutes. Starts at noon sharp. The break room has a microwave. The first week passes in small victories. Gerald learns our routing software, the same system he called unnecessarily complex when I suggested it years ago. Lorraine discovers that dispatchers actually need to be polite to drivers. They both realize that $68,000 a year doesn't go far when you've lived on embezzled funds. Maya shows me their productivity scores. Gerald's at 72%. Lorraine's doing better 85%. Send Gerald the performance warning. Standard protocol. Your own father, especially my own father. Week 3 brings the first real test. A massive order from Colorado Springs needs emergency routing. The old Gerald would have thrown money at expedited shipping. Instead, he has to request supervisor approval for any decision over $500. He appears at my office door, pride visibly wrestling with necessity. I need to authorize an expedite. Submit the request form. I'll review it within 24 hours. The shipment leaves in 3 hours. Then you should have submitted yesterday. I don't look up from my screen. There's a reason we have protocols. He figures it out, splits the shipment, uses 3 regular routes instead of 1 expedited. It's actually clever. I approve his first performance bonus, $47. Luis finds me reviewing payroll. They're both here every day, on time, following rules. Give it time. But they don't break. Gerald becomes oddly efficient, his 40 years of experience finally applied to actual work. Lorraine discovers she's good at soothing angry drivers. Their coworkers stop avoiding them, start treating them like any other employees. The transformation is almost disturbing. 2 months in, I find my mother in the break room at lunch, eating a sandwich from home with 3 other dispatchers, actually laughing at someone's joke. Ms. Hartley, she says, perfectly appropriate. Did you need something? Just checking the schedule. I leave quickly, unsettled by something I can't name. The quarterly review arrives. Atlas Flow Systems has absorbed Hartley Distributors completely. Profits are up 18%. Employee satisfaction scores are the highest in company history. I stand in my real office now, not the converted warehouse space staring at the wall. The tarnished hairpin sits in a frame, next to the forged documents, the bounced checks, all the evidence of their betrayal. Noah appears in my doorway. Patricia Morrison called, says congratulations. For what? For not becoming them. I look down at the warehouse floor. Gerald's training a new hire, patient and thorough. Lorraine's coordinating a complex delivery, focused and professional. They're just employees now, I say. No. Noah corrects. They're proof that anyone can change, even if it takes force. The irony tastes different than I expected. Not sweet, not bitter, just finished. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number, probably Patricia again. The best revenge is a life well lived. You're living it. I set down the phone. Pick up the next quarter's projections. There's work to do, a company to run, employees to manage, including 2 who share my last name and nothing else. At 5 p.m., I watch them clock out. They walk to their 10-year-old Honda the Mercedes got repossessed and drive home to their 2-bedroom apartment. Tomorrow they'll be back at 6 sharp. The next day, and the next, and the next. For 3 years. Exactly as contracted. I shut down my computer, lock the office, head home to my own life. The empire I built doesn't run on revenge anymore. It runs on competence, fairness, and the knowledge that I became everything they said I couldn't be. The hairpin stays on the wall not as a trophy, but as a reminder. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying your enemies. It's making them witness your success from the ground floor, badge in, badge out, every single day. I signed the last payroll approval of the week. 2 direct deposits. 68,000 annually, divided by 26 pay periods. Their names look so small on the spreadsheet. Just 2 lines among 48. Exactly where they belong. Thank you for listening to this story of betrayal, determination, and ultimate justice. Where are you tuning in from today? I'd love to know. Drop a comment below and let's connect. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts. What would you have done in Elena's position? Let me know in the comments.